Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
And Pete is still away for his lovely wedding.
Good lord.
To his lovely bride.
I can't believe a pagan wedding. They're gonna drink blood. Oh, it's so weird.
That's so weird.
Just a little behind the curtain stuff.
Yeah, he got those claws in.
Yeah.
Those wedding claws.
Old wedding claws.
That's what we call them, old wedding claws. We have 3 ridiculous titles to talk to you guys about today. We're going to talk about Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, #1, Ghostbusters: The Other Side, #1, and Superman and Batman versus Werewolves and Vampires, #1 of 6. So let's get into it. Talk about Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, the first special kind of filling in the gap after the end of the recent Action Comics storyline written by James Robinson. Big James Robinson fan. Why don't you talk about it?
I loved James Robinson through a lot of his work, Starman specifically. Now, he's been on Superman, did the whole Atlas thing, and this is kind of laying out the next story points. And I don't know what to say because I don't like this very much. It's Jimmy Olsen is like being a badass. He's riding a motorcycle through a lot of the issue. And it seems really out of character, a lot of the stuff that goes on. And there's all this Newsboy Legion and Guardian stuff, Cadmus. It's really dense in a kind of a negative way, where it's like a lot of just exposition, and we don't really know what's going on enough to like buy into it and be excited about the information that's coming.
Here's what I think. I think this is the wrong time to be doing this Jimmy Olsen story. And here's why I think this. Say what you want about Countdown, okay? Yeah. And certainly we've said a lot about Countdown. A lot of other people have said stuff about Countdown. During it, Jimmy Olsen saves the entire multiverse by taking down Darkseid, right? Mm-hmm. And investigates all these mysteries and is a total badass and whatever. They completely ignore that. Yeah. And then in Jeff Johns' current run, he is back to being Bumblebee Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen. And now he's back to being like, nobody respects me, I'm going to investigate mysteries and become a total badass.
Yeah.
So it's just like, choose one thing. I'm actually fine with just straightforward, like, whoops, I drop coffee all the time, Jimmy Olsen. Yeah. Stop apologizing for it. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid. He's a character. That's his whole thing. And in this, he's like, I'm sick of having him drink cold coffee.
Also, he's totally, like, having sex with some girl.
Yeah, that's so weird. He, like, breaks up with his girlfriend, who he's, like, just hooks up with and then leaves her apartment. It's like, what? Jimmy Olsen is, like, a dick.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like Robinson's writing works better for Jimmy Olsen than it does for Superman, for example. Having an internal monologue written by Robinson, much better for a regular guy than for a super amazing guy. Yeah. But this is just weird. This whole thing is weird.
And the big character they set up is a guy named Codename Assassin.
Right.
Who we don't know much about. He's super powered and like has...
Here's the thing. He's an assassin.
Yeah.
Could you figure that out for
That's his code. Like, if your superhero name needs a code name in it, needs the word code name in it, then I think you could edit that first part out.
Right. Like, Superman could be codenamed Superman.
Yeah, well, you don't need that part.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's birth name.
Would you say pick this up?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well. Let's move on. Talk about Ghostbusters: The Other Side, #1. I was totally surprised by this issue.
Yeah, in
a good way.
In a good way. I wouldn't have really bought this. I didn't. So,
in fact.
But Alex did, and I read it, and I did like it. The story is actually nice, and I haven't watched the movie Ghostbusters. Apparently, there's a movie called Ghostbusters. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
Have you watched Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah. I watch it every morning before I go to work. Man, what a story.
So it pumps you up to go to work.
I know. But the Statue of Liberty walks on the good energy of New Yorkers.
Oh.
I like it. I live in New York. This is good. It's nice to see the old Ghostbusters. I feel like I haven't seen them in a while.
Here's the thing about this. It's very tough to hit a Ghostbusters tone correctly. Mm-hmm. Where you have actual, horror, you have actual comedy going on. I don't think they quite hit the comedy.
No, in fact, there are a lot of bad jokes in this.
There's a lot of bad jokes, but they don't actually, they get around. I'm not going to spoil, I actually don't want to spoil anything for you guys, because I was pleasantly surprised by this, but they have a way of getting around having to be funny by taking the funny characters off of the board, is essentially what it's
cool.
saying.
Nice. Very tricky. Really.
That being said, I was very surprised by the plot. I really enjoyed the plot.
The story's great.
It feels like the real Ghostbusters cartoon series, and I say that in the best sense because I love that series.
Are you talking about the one with the elevator that would go down up and their characters are
No, that was Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters.
I know the difference, but
there's a whole deal. Read the Wikipedia entry, Youngins.
Drama, Youngins, yeah.
But this is great. Definitely pick it up. Lots of fun.
Yep.
Really enjoyable. Even if you've never heard of Ghostbusters, you know what? If you've never heard of Ghostbusters, Justin, go watch it.
Yeah, and watch Ghostbusters 2 if you're interested.
If somebody's asked you if you see Ghostbusters, say yes.
Well, I've seen it before, but I just haven't seen it.
Quote. That's an appropriating a quote from Ghostbusters. All right, let's move on. Talk about the best issue of the week: Superman and Batman versus Werewolves and Vampires. As I mentioned, this is a 6-part miniseries, and this is quite possibly the worst thing I have ever read in my entire life.
You know, I was hooked by the title because at least, I mean, you know...
Here's the thing. Okay, I like the title. A lot of people have been making fun of it online and other places, like, you know, the White House, I guess. Yeah. But why not have a ridiculous, silly, fun series about Superman and Batman fighting vampires and werewolves?
Hilarious.
Totally cool.
Could be fun.
Totally like have a fun series, over the top superhero action.
Great premise. It's
or you could make it super serious noir. And that also makes no sense. I'm just going to read you guys the first sentence.
You should be fair and say terribly written noir.
Terribly written noir. This is the first sentence of Superman and Batman versus Vampires and Werewolves. Gotham City. More an ideal than a place where people flock from around the world to the sweet smell of success and dreams occasionally come true. But this alley is in the seedy underside of Gotham City where failure and death have a scent all their own. Yeah. Okay, look, I've only read a couple of comic books, right?
Yeah.
But I'm under this impression that Gotham City is not the city where people go to fulfill their dreams. And also, it's not like there's one alley... Yeah. That is the seedy underbelly of Gotham City.
Well, here's the thing. Batman doesn't ever go to the Champagne District. The foie gras area of town, where everyone's like having a nice time.
All right, like Gotham Park, where it's like nice at night.
Everyone's playing ultimate frisbee.
I also want to mention that is the best part of this issue, and it only goes.
It only gets worse. At one point, a woman is outside of a car, and the guy, the narrator, quote unquote, is like, she should be down in Cabo drinking 3 glasses of tequila. And it's like, what? That isn't...
Nobody drinks 3 glasses of tequila. And then there's a thing later on. Okay, this is going to get me so made fun of. But there's a thing where Alfred is like, I hope you enjoy your lasagna. I made it with fennel. Now, I don't know if this guy knows who wrote it. Kevin Van Hoek, which sounds made up. Knows what fennel is, but you basically are making licorice lasagna.
Yeah. Maybe he lives in Candyland.
I don't know. I don't want to eat licorice lasagna.
No, and Alfred would never cook that way. We all know he's a great cook.
This is so awful that Superman doesn't even bother to show up in this.
And then back they have a tacked on thing where it's like, appearing next issue, Superman shows up. It's like,
oh, good. Do you know what also doesn't appear in this issue? Vampires and werewolves. That's not true. They are in there.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman shows up.
Wonder Woman shows up and yells at somebody, come out here and finish this like a man. Which, if I've read one or too many Wonder Woman comics, all the time she's always like challenging people to act like men more. I'm sorry, I'm sure Kevin Van Hoek is a very nice guy.
No.
Really.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a jerk.
Kevin Van Hoek, if you are a nice guy, please let us know, because... what's wrong with you?
And if you email us, we're going to feel pretty guilty about slamming your comments.
We sure are. Or if Michael Siglin, who's the editor, or Harvey Richard, the assistant editor, I feel like somewhere along the line, people would be like, have you ever read a Batman comic?
Yeah.
Do you know who Batman is? There's a point where like Batman suspects a perp, like he encounters this guy, and then there's a whole panel where he's like, nice to meet you, which never in the history of Batman has ever been like, hey, guy who I suspect of a crime, let me shake your hand.
Yeah. I'm actually Bruce Wayne. We should get to the bottom of this. So I think you're a criminal, and I need to put some on the table with what are we going to do?
Yeah, most unintentionally hilarious book of the week. I would say pick it up just for the insane...
And we've only touched on a few parts of the insane.
Oh my
God.
There's more There's so much in here that is so ridiculous. It's the
We want to get the fennel part out to you, though. That's the most important mistake.
Please. Please cook your lasagna correctly. If you have a question, you can write us at thecomicbookclub@yahoo.com. Please comment below, subscribe, tell your friends. Check out our blog at popcultureshock.com/cbclub. And if you're ever in New York,
come on down to Comic Book Club, our live show. Also, send us beer.
See you.
Goodbye.